Hello everyone, my name is Rafael Correa Gomes, and today we're going to talk a little bit more login without forms. This technology was launched some years ago, but we don't see many projects using it. It's a pretty exciting technology we can start to use right now, and it's available on Google Chrome, on Firefox too. It's available on Safari with some limitations. So let's get started. As I said, my name is Rafael Correa Gomes. I'm the Technology Director at Lecit, and I was elected Magento Master 2018. I'm 2 times Innovation Labs winner. And by the way, this is one of my Innovation Labs that I launched, the second one. The first one is about payment, and the second one, this one, is about customer login without any forms. And this is my website, rafaelcg.com, where you can find blog posts, where you can find my contacts, like for example GitHub, LinkedIn, Twitter. And so let's understand a little bit more about this topic, about the Innovation Lab. What is it? So basically, Magento Innovation Labs, the main goals were to highlight the innovations made by community. So they wanted to bring the possibility to the table and show to everyone the nice things that we can do in Magento. So, and show the new possibilities too. It's not a limited technology that it's there. It's open source, so it's pretty open to any new customization tweaks that we wanted to do in the platform to improve the customer experience and bring brand new technologies to it, and also extract the maximum possibilities that you want and as you can. So, and what is the Credential Management API? Well, Credential Management API is the web API that was launched to make available the customer password. As soon as it's saved in the browser, it's available via APIs. So you can contact your browser. This is not inside of your application. The password is there, but instead of auto-completion, as usual, you can get this password and then you process it. So you can do an AJAX call. You can use the customer email and password to do the login without having to wait the customer to see forms, fulfill with the autocomplete, and then click and apply. So they can just select the user that they wanted to log in with, and also if they don't have any additional logins, it's just one. You can just get this user and password and do the login in your store. It's not attached to any external, for example, email provider like Gmail, Outlook, or social media too, like for example, Facebook login or different methods to do the login via Twitter, but on Google login. So it's attached just to your browser and user and password. So what is the experience with it? This is how it looks like when we start to do the login, and then it detects that you have the user and password already saved. They don't need to, in the technology, you don't need to wait the customer have the field fulfilled and then click the login. The technology will get this user and password and show this image here in the top, in case there is just one user saved. As you see here, it's seen in as, and then it's automatic reloads and show to the customer my account page, or direct it to another page that you wanted to redirect the customer. So the login is made automatic. It doesn't need it to be just in one page. It can be in all pages. So imagine that your customer create your his or her account in your project, in your website, and then they log in via a cell phone. They don't need to log in via traditional form. As soon as they start to go to the checkout page, add some products to the cart, the account, the Google account, that is shared between different browsers will show the possibilities in your device, in your mobile device, and then get to this information and do the login too. So the customer don't need to click and go to fulfill the forms and see the login page and then complete the checkout. As soon as the customer is in the cart or is in the checkout page, it's just refresh the page and the customer is logged in. In case the customer has more than one user, this is the customer experience. So today I see this applied in some projects, like for example Twitter use it, but I don't see any store using it besides the store that already applied this technology to. So you see the possibilities here in the shopping cart to log in, and then the customer can select it. Another thing here is about the possibility. So when you apply it, what happens if the customer doesn't have the compatibility? So the new method and versus the auto-completion, comparing both of them. So many developers ask this to me, so what is the difference between both of them? It's not better to have the auto-completion than having this new method to do the login? And my answer usually is that it depends. But I prefer to have this new method because it's smoothly logging in. You don't depend to have the auto-completion of forms. So in the background login, it's sometimes much more effective. At the same time that we have the background login, in case the session is invalidated, then you create a new session to the client based on the new login, and it's made automatic in background by the client machine. So it's not made automatic via the password saved from your side. And the same thing with the seamless syncing across devices. So even with the auto-completion, when you use your computer to fulfill the forms and it's saved there in your account, and then your device, you have the auto-completion, sometimes it makes more sense to just continue the experience, not have to do the login again as you just did on your desktop. So your mobile device is clever when they recognize, using a clever approach, when just recognize and start to use, you continue your experience in the same method, and vice versa too. So you can start on mobile, and then when you arrive at home and get your computer to finish the order or to check more information about the product or store, you see the auto login there, and it's better to merchants too to recognize which client is going through which product page and create more relevant recommendations. So it's the same thing without using a lot of cookies to do that and predict which customer is that. You can just create the login, and the customer you are gonna have the data of the customer, the product that they are looking for. So the same thing with the social login. You don't need it to be attached to a social login, and your client account is attached to one of the accounts. If they don't have this account, they wouldn't be able to use this benefit of this new technology. And when you go to the mobile device, it's not a fluid method. It's not going directly to continue the customer experience because they needed to do the login again in a new device. So it's different. And those are the possibilities here. So as you can see, Chrome supported, Edge, Firefox, just Internet Explorer no, don't support it. Opera, Safari, most of those devices, they support different methods. For example, on Safari, you are not able to use the user and password method as I just showed to you on Google Chrome. You can use it via fingerprint method or via an external device to connect and do the login via, for example, pen drive with a key. This is mostly used by banks or by government too, to assign documents and this kind of thing to recognize your identity. And what is the core code? This is the basic core code to get this user and password. So navigator.credentials is the new API that was launched by W3C. And with this new technology, you would be able to get a password. So you can send password through to obtain the user password. And with the return, with the then function, you get this user and password and process it via Ajax, for example. In case you have some errors, it can be, so in the catch return, you will be able to get the why the client declined to, for example, why it was declined by the browser. So the browser is not able to get this return, or because the client didn't click in any of the options, of the login options. This is one of the possibilities. And then you treat it. So for example, you can decide to not show it again, and the customer go through a new customer account to add a new extra one, not use those ones that we already have saved. And this is the example of how it looks like in a project out of Magento. So here's an example that we can start to test right now. So I was saying, here we have the URL. It's called credential-management-sample.appspot.com. And then you have this example here with, for example, my Gmail, a test account, which doesn't exist, but it's saved anyways because it's not validating if it exists or not. It's just saving your customer password, as in it go through the login page, and a social login too, because you are not limited to use just user and password. You can use this method to save social login too. And when I go to this page, let's do a quick test here. This is the page that I just mentioned. So here we have the Credential Management API demo. And with this new Credential Management API demo, we have the whatever name you want to save. We have the fake email address, and we have the password too. And as soon as I saved something here, it suggests me to save it. So for example, I will put here Rafael, and then test, and then I will put, for example, test2.com, and the password here. So I will put a password 1234 and register. Then, okay, check your password because I just saved another test, but okay, it's saved. This is a suggestion to my customer save the browser, saving the browser, my password. So I'm gonna save it. 1234 is the password, and I'm logged in. So when I sign out, and then I want to do the login again, what I can do is click here in the top, and then I see the options that I already have saved. And where are those options? Those options are here in the top. When I cancel, it suggests me to do a new login and password, because since like I canceled, because I already have a new user and password that I want to use. That's why the suggestion here, you can customize the user experience. But here in the top, you have all your passwords saved. For example, the new one that I just saved is here. Let's see how this magic works. So this is the example here in the left bar that I saved here in my snippets. So to create this new credential, you just need to create a new object saying password credentials with the ID, which is the email, password, name, and type password, because you can have the type of fingerprint, the pen drive, and or social media to log in via social media. In this case, you just use the password. So as soon as you saved a new object like this, let's run it. For example, one by one here. Okay, it's saved. So with the navigator, to make sure that you can use it, you just needed to send this. Let's see if you have the return. So navigator.credentials, it's allowed to be used. So if I can use it, I will store the credentials, because the object is created based on the form that the client fulfilled. Then I'm gonna run this. It's gonna store my credentials previously saved, and in case of success, we're gonna have a console log saying storing credentials for my email. And in case it didn't work, I will gonna have the error storing credentials with the error. Let's try it out. Okay, it's saved. So here I have storing credentials for, and then my email here. Let's try to change it. Since I already had this one here, and in Gmail, I'm gonna exclude it. I'm gonna exclude my test too. And I'm gonna exclude this test too. Yeah, okay, now I just have one. and I'm gonna try to save it with a different password, with a different email. So I will put 2 here on the end and run exactly the same command here to say, create a new object to override the previous one, and after that I'm gonna save it with navigator.credentials.store. Okay, so this is the screen. This is what appears in the every time that you save it a new password. So here my password that I had there. So as soon as the client submit the form to create a new account or to do the login, you can run this script in your WordPress, Shopify, any e-commerce platform, Magento, obviously. And then we have this return. And when I save it, it's there. It's one extra possibility that I can use. And if I want to update the password, I can update it too. But what happened when I go, for example, here, and this algorithm try to get my user and password? I have these 2 here too. So the extra possibility that I manually created was added to my browser, and this script recognized and tried to use it here. So what I'm gonna try to do now, it's just to save it. Sorry, I won't save it. And what I'm gonna do here now is to simulate the same screen when it shows to me saying the possibility to choose one or another. So when I use navigator.credentials.get, it's not to save, it's to get my possibilities. So I needed to pass password true. So I want to have the customer password to be able to apply it in my code, to be able to process it. And I have here the mediation as required. It means that the mediation is the screen that will show to me. It's not the silence login. So when I require the mediation is this screen here. When I show, for example, this is the mediation, when it shows to me the possibility, even when it's one, and this is not when I don't want to have the mediation. It's just finalized to my customers that my customers log in automatically, but there is no mediation. So the customer is not selecting which option they want to have. If they want to have options, if they want to select one or another. Let's run it. And the options that I have here, besides mediation required, is unmediation as true or mediation as silent. I have required and I have optional. And let's run it. Just the credentials get. Okay, when I run it, as I require the password here, it shows to me the only possibility that I have the password, not the social login, just this one. And here it is. So I have the sign in as, and when I click, if I cancel, we're gonna have the catch error saying error reading the credentials. So credential read none, which is here because, okay, so what happened here? It succeed because it showed the message to me, but I had the console log because I didn't receive any credential. In case I had any errors, for example, not allowed by the browser, I would receive this error reading credentials. So let's try again, but now we are gonna have the option to, I will select one of the options. So I'm gonna see the user and password, but my password has been replaced by asterisks. So here, by stars, to not show the real password, even if it's like 1, 2, 3. So I'm gonna run it here. And this is the option that I see. When I click on it, I see Rafael 2, the email and password. Let's show the password to me. So I'm gonna replace this line, gonna comment it, and put a new line here to show my password. Then I select this one, and here it is. So we have the user and password to start to process it. Okay, as we already have it now, what we can do too is after I tested it and see the concept and make sure like it's working, what are the capabilities, which browser I can run it. You can run it on Google Chrome, which is the most used browser, so it's going to be beneficial to most of my customers too, and to my clients, the merchants, my clients too. So then let's go to the module that I created for it. So I created a basic module in the beginning. This is the version 1. This is 1 year ago. I'm in the process of refactoring it. And now we have here the module entirely. So inside of this module, what we have is we have the blocks, helpers, override, view model, which is just basic things to make sure that the module is enabled, to show to the customer, to put the JavaScript there, these JavaScripts that I just showed to you, to create the Ajax path to be able to call it and do the login. But the most critical part on it is this part here, when we have, for example, the templates and layouts. So where is it added? So my main goal with it is to make the customer be able to select where they want to show it, to customize and tweak the options that they have. So I create this admin panel. The admin panel, I have here general enable as yes, auto sync in as yes, so that's automatic sync in the customer. You can select the no to. Then I put here the extra information about it. If there are more than one user saved, the browser will ask which user to use. So the auto sync in is the silent mode when you have just one customer saved, or customer account saved. And the pages. So the pages are allow in all pages, no as default, because most of the customers don't want the customer sync in automatically the first time. So just when they trigger this action going through the customer account page, or when I go to the checkout page or cart page. So probably we needed to do the login anyway, so it automates the process, but not when they're going through the home page or category page. Then we have here the extra options. So allow in the cart page, allow in checkout page, allow in login page. Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So in the module, I started to create the XML files to put in all of those positions, and the default option in case it's enabled. So the default option is showing to me to put in the before body end if this configuration is allowing in all pages is true. If it's allowed in all the pages, what I show is the auto show PHML. So what is this? Auto show.phml is showing to my customers these possibilities here. So I'm gonna run this script before doing ready, checking if it's allowed to be running this browser. It's not like a browser that doesn't support it. It's a browser supported by it's supporting this technology. Then I run here the command to create the function, the Ajax call, and here the navigation credential execution. So what I do here is after my customer sync in, if the auto sync in is enabled, the unmediated is true. So it means that it's gonna show just the minimal box at the top. If not, it's gonna just get the password. If there's then here I have, if it succeed and I have the credential, then it's gonna run this Ajax login with the email and password. So as I have here at the top, there's a simple call, email and password, and after the response, it's gonna be redirected to the customer. That's it, simple as it is. Then what else I have here? So when there is a tricky part, because this is how you use the password previously saved in all the screens, but also there is the option to save it. So let's go to the customer login. In the customer login, what I have is the auto show in case it's allowed to show in that screen. as I put here in the option, it's allowed to create a new account. If it's allowed, it's going to be automatically logged in when the customer enter there, but if not, we have this login fallback, the login.phml. This is there when we have the module enabled, the general option enabled, because this is going to save the password. Let's go to the login.phml. And here's the navigation.credentials.store. So we have here the recognition of the form. So we recognize those forms created to do the login, to the client login. Then we get the user field, password field. We set the autocomplete attribute to be able to use the autocompletion in case it's there. It's to optimize this part too. So the client will have the autocompletion to user and current password. Then we have some interception during the form submission. We have the Ajax login as before. There is a new version of this module again that are going to be launched, but on the Magento marketplace. But this one here is an interception of the form submit. So when the client submit the form, what is going to happen is prevent the default behavior of the form submission, then intercept and get the email and password. Then after getting these values, we're going to get the form key and send all of them with the Ajax login here created here. When the submission succeed, we're going to have this navigation credential store, which is going to save the user and password. So it's going to save the user and password and reload the screen. That's it. So it's saved in your browser using this new password credential management system. And the next time when you go to, for example, to login in your page, not just this script is going to be there to intercept the form submission in case it's needed, but the auto show login form will be autoshow.phml will be there to watch your actions and see that, oops, you are there, so it's allowed to be shown there. So it's going to try to get the user and password and log in before you have time to submit a new form. And also, when you create a new account, it's the same thing. So I put almost the same script. Here we are intercepting, we are getting the options there, and we are storing the same data, user and password, because there is one of the methods to the customer log in. As soon as they create a new account, they will be logged in. Then we have this option here to do the same thing, to save it. And during the logout, we have this option here. So this is one of the parts that we didn't see, that we didn't check. So what it does is this navigator.credentials.prevent silence access gonna prevent it the next time is get the silence log in automatically, because since the customer log out of the screen, so it's not going to automatically sync in the checkout page, in the cart page, or in the login page, because the customer asked to log out. So this is a prevention to not automatically sync in every time, even if the client log out. This method that can be used. And that's it. So these are the screens. So the cart, automatic login if it's allowed, index page. So here in this page we added, let me check, the PHML, the autoshow.phml, checkout index, in case it's allowed in the checkout page. And then we have the customer account creation, the create. So when we put the new, the PHML to watch the form, login is the same thing to watch the form. So not just the autoshow.phml, but also the login.phml, and logout succeed with this logout.phml, and the default.xml to show the extra, to show here the autoshow.phml in all the pages in case it's allowed to show. This is pretty much the module. And then here in the admin panel, we have those options that I already showed to you. And here in the home page, let's go and check this out. So I have running Costello. When I go to the sync in page, let's see what happened. That's it. It's logged in because I just have one customer saved. So I didn't have to wait or to fulfill the form. It's automatic sync in to me. What happened if I sync out? So let's go here in the message and sync out. Okay, that's it. Next time that I go to the sync in page, as it's selected to decline the silence mode, so I go to the sync in, and a different option is gonna show like this, asking to me now since I log out. So I can cancel it, and I can do the login with a different user and password if I want, and it's gonna be saved here in the top. This is how the magic works. And as you saw, like the customer can be able, for example, to go here. Let's go to one on tops. Edit this first one. Then I go to my shopping cart. That's it. And suddenly I see this pop up here from my browser asking to log in. So if I were not signed out from, if I didn't sign out of my account, it's going to be automatic sign in. But in this case, I just select yes, and Veronica Costello. So then I click here, and that's it. The page just reloads. And if I have more items in my cart, it's going to show up here. But in case I don't have it, it's going to just show the one item, and I can proceed to the checkout page with my account already logged in. So I have all my data here. This optimizes a lot the customer experience and make the process more fluid, more make the process more clever during the account with the account management. So that's it. Here we have the module that we just saw how it was created, and we are gonna have the Q&A session now. And thank you very much. I hope you guys like it as I like it, and see you next time. Thank you. Bye.